Hey guys, it's been a little while since I've made a video, but I've got a few things done on my body um, over the last couple 2 weeks, and so I thought I'll do a whole body mod piercing tattoo video with chronological order and the meaning behind stuff that I've got on my body. And for that, I think we'll need to start on May 1st, 2015. That is the day when my grandmother died. And that day, I knew that I wanted to do something in remembrance of my grandmother. I was 13, and I was crushed because deep down I knew I was trans, and I never got a chance to tell my grandmother that. And I knew she would have accepted me. So, yeah, since then I knew what I wanted to get for my grandmother. And then in 2018, when I was 16, 2 weeks later, I got my first piercing. Because my parents told me I could have as much piercings as I wanted when I turned 16. My parents are very easygoing on that because my dad has piercings. My mother had piercings like all over her ear. And the only thing my mother didn't like were stretched ears, but I got there. I got my mind. I got what I really wanted. So yeah, when I was 16, I got my snake bite. Like, just one. It's one lip ring. Like, okay. And then at some point I didn't like it because it was the only person I knew with piercings. So I took it out and it just was there. But I never put a ring in it again for like 3 whole years. So the first thing I got was my lip ring, and then a year later I got my septum. No, not true. 2 years later, when I was, or 1.5 years later, I got my septum, and then like another 2 months later I got my helix, like shortly before I turned 18. And then shortly after I turned 18, 2 days after I turned 18, 3 days after I turned 18 to be exact, oh fucking hell, I can't speak. I got my first tattoo. My father and I went out to the tattoo studio near us and just wanted to like get information on the tattoo process because he has tattoos, but it's been a while since he's got them, and just to get a vibe of the studio and stuff. If I could go back now, I wouldn't have gone to that tattoo studio because it is run by a Nazi, and we don't like Nazis here. We're not big on Nazis. No. Like, I'm gay. I'm not gay, I'm bi, but yeah. We wouldn't go to a Nazi studio, would we? No, we wouldn't. So yeah, I got my first tattoo 3 days after I turned 18 on February 25th of 2020, shortly before the pandemic hit. So I never got a chance to touch it up. And this right here is my first tattoo. I have no idea if you know what it is. I'm grateful that most people don't know what it is because it is actually quite embarrassing to tell everyone that this is a Call Me By Your Name tattoo. It is what it is. I watched the movie when it came out with my mother in cinemas in 2018. That was the time when it was released in Germany, and since then I've seen the movie roughly 200 times. I've read the book like 7 times. I've owned it in German and in English, and I also own Find Me, which is the sequel. I do love the movie very much, and it helped me through a rough time. At this point, I was still missing my grandmother very much, but I didn't want to commit for my first tattoo to be a remembrance tattoo, so I thought I'd get a tattoo of my favorite movie. Then 2 years later, I just finished secondary school, like the second secondary school. I went, in Germany we have 3 schools you go after elementary. We have the which is for the lowest education thing. Then you have Realschule, where I went first. Then you have Gymnasium, which is the highest level of education. And you can go to a special gymnasium after you finish Realschule. And that's what I did. Like, you finish after 10th grade, and then you go there for another 3 years to get the Abitur, which you need to go to university and stuff. So just after I finished my Abitur, I went to this other tattoo studio who had a great deal on tattoos. They did like 6 by 6 centimeters for 70 euros, which was a great deal in my mind. So I went there. That's where I got the Daredevil helmet, because I love Daredevil. There's no real reason behind it. He's just my favorite superhero, and also during my most depressing times, I've just consumed Daredevil memorabilia, and no, not memorabilia. I just watched Daredevil, and I knew no one who knew him. No one in my personal life knew who Daredevil was, and I was obsessed. I'm still obsessed. Daredevil is still my favorite Marvel superhero, and I freaked the fuck out when he appeared in No Way Home. I had to keep my calm to not scream at the screen in the cinema. Then I didn't get another tattoo for 2 years. It just didn't. It just didn't seem to cross my mind to get another tattoo. And then I found this great studio in a bigger town over, and they are the sweetest people ever. Like, they're the sweetest people of them all. And there was a nice tattoo apprenticeship. There was a nice tattoo apprentice who took his oh god. There was a guy who learned to tattoo at the studio, and he made some great deals because he was still learning. And then I sent him a picture of this thing I wanted, because until that point I drew all of my 2 tattoos myself. I did the same thing with the next tattoo that I got. Like the third tattoo that I got, I drew it myself, sent it to him, asked him if he could do it. And that tattoo is actually another gay tattoo, because but it's also a tattoo where this is quite obviously a Daredevil tattoo. If you know Daredevil, you know what that is. But if you know Call Me by Name, you won't probably directly think of this. And that's the same with this tattoo. If you know what it is, you can guess what it is. There are 2 button-ups hung over each other, which is a depiction from a book I've read in the movie where this is from, like originally from. It is opposite. Like, there's the one without the checkout thing is in the movie above the jean one. This is the jean one, and this is the flannel one. So in the movie it's swapped, but in the book it is this way, and I thought this way was cooler. Enough rambling. I think I can tell you what it is. It's from Brokeback Mountain, a movie I first watched with one of my closest friends, and it broke us. It literally broke us. Like, we cried so hard during the movie, and it is one of my comfort movies to watch, although I always would cry. And Heath Ledger is one of my favorite actors. It's so sad that he died before he got his Oscar, before he could get his Oscar. And the fact that Heath Ledger and Charlie Cox played together in a movie, that is so funny. I just love the fact that he played together in Casanova. Yeah, this is a Brokeback Mountain tattoo. Then the next one I got, let me think, I don't want to lie, is this one right here. It wasn't shaded at first. We did that later, but that was the fourth tattoo that I got. The second one by the tattoo apprentice, and he's the sweetest guy on this planet. He is so fucking sweet. I can't comprehend. He drew this, and I thought, yeah, why not? I mean, like, flower stuff is more on the feminine leaning side, And you will notice that my legs are definitely more feminine leaning than the other stuff. It's not on my arms, there's nothing shaded or special. Well, on my upper arms, there's nothing shaded or special. Um, so I thought, like, I liked the motive. I liked it being like floral and just natural based because I am a scout. I love nature, so this was the most logical thing to get. And then I convinced my brother to go with me to Max, the name of the apprentice, the nicest person on earth. I can't say this enough. I miss him. I miss him dearly because he stopped tattooing, and he's the greatest guy on earth. And then I convinced my brother to get a Scouts themed tattoo because we are Scouts. We've been Scouts. I've been Scouts since my 5th year on Earth, which means I've been a Scout for nearly 18 years now, which is crazy if you ask me. And we got matching tattoos. This is a quarter type of tent that we sleep in. He has a slightly smaller one on his leg. Yeah, this is a Scouts themed tattoo. There are more coming. And then we got back to my legs, and I got this one. Another flowery stuff. No, not true. I got my first big one. It was my most expensive tattoo until that point. It's this one. It's mushrooms with leaves, and it looks fancy, and I like it because it's forest themed. It has no special meaning. I just like the look of it. And then we got this one. This beautiful swirly thing right here. This was my last tattoo done by Max. I'm still sad about it. And yes, they're all happened last year. All of these, this one, and this one, they all happened last year. 2 more to come for last, 3 more to come for last year. Then I finally decided, or I really locked in what I wanted to get for my grandmother. As I said, she passed nearly 10 years ago. She was the nicest person on earth. I still love her so much. And when I made the decision to get the tattoo, my other grandmother was still alive. And my grandpa died in 2023, in November of 2023. So I still had one grandparent left. But by the time I got the tattoo, as I said, when I made the appointment, my other grandmother was still alive. By the time I went to the appointment, my grandmother had passed 3 days before that. So I had lost all of my grandparents at the point. And after I got the tattoo, I made the next tattoo appointment to get another remembrance tattoo for my other grandparents. So we start with the tattoo I made for my grandma. I don't have a grandpa on that side. Not a real grandpa, not a fraternal grandpa, just my Opa Uli. Uli is his name, and Opa means grandpa in German. I got a song title from a German musician called Hannes Wader. He's still alive. He doesn't make music anymore because he's fucking old, and he said so himself. But Hannes Wader made like working class music. He made songs like Die Moorsoldaten, which is a war song, a war prisoner song from World War II, from people who were kept in Nazi camps. He sang a song with Konstantin Wecker, who made a song called Sage Nein, which is for people who meet Nazis and their propaganda and just say no. Like, he was a very leftist singer-songwriter. That's how I know that my grandmother definitely would have accepted me the way that I am, because she was just that. She was an accepting old woman who loved everyone. So this says heute hier, morgen dort, which means today here, tomorrow there. It's technically 2 tattoos on my underarms, but it's supposed to go together like this. I knew that I wanted this for a long time, but I never really went through with it because I wasn't sure if I wanted to get a script tattoo. But I decided to get just one script tattoo, and for that to be special, it is for my grandmother. As I said, he was his favorite singer. This tattoo also has 2 meanings, because Heute hier morgen dort is one of my favorite songs we sing with the Scouts, probably because it was one of my grandmother's favorite songs of all time. If you have the time and you wanted to listen to it, listen to it. It's beautiful, it's meaningful. It reminds myself of my grandmother. And then the day before the burial of my grandma, I got my remembrance tattoo for my grandma and my grandpa. They met at Scouts, which means this tattoo is technically also Scouts related. It is my only color tattoo, and it will be my only color tattoo because it contains the 2 favorite colors of my grandparents. It is this one, purple for my grandma and blue for my grandpa, because they both like blue, and 2 blue strings would be weird. And my grandma also liked purple and yellow and red, but I'm probably allergic to red, so I went with purple and blue. This is Weberknoten. I have no idea how it's called in English. It is one of the strongest knots out there. It will just go tighter if you tear it, and it's easy. And that's how I will remember my other grandparents, because they met at Scouts, they fell in love, they married, and they would have been married for 60 years last year if my grandpa hadn't passed. And then at the end of last year in November, this one and this one were done by another apprentice at the tattoo studio I go to, Mo. She's also one of the nicest people out there. She's so sweet, and we talked a lot during our last appointment. Yeah, and then I went to her stuff, her wanna-dos, and I saw a butterfly. And in tattoo world, butterflies have a meaning, and the meaning is transformation and transitioning. And since I'm trans and I am transitioning, I thought that would be a cute idea. And I also like butterflies, like for real. I have a giant butterfly poster right there. And it is under my knee. Oh god, there it is. That's a butterfly. It's a beautiful butterfly. You can't really see it, but I can't get my leg up enough without revealing another tattoo. So, oh, and if this looks fresh, we just redid the color on Wednesday. Yeah, that was the tattoo, and I love it. It's healing very well. And then on Tuesday, 2 weeks ago, I decided to finally get my nostril pierced. Yeah, I have my nostril pierced now. I wanted it for a while and just went through and said fuck it, and I got it. Same with my tunnels. I talked with my mom and she said I can do it until 10 millimeters. This is the cutoff where it can close again. So I'm currently seeing at 8 millimeters because I was allergic to my 10 millimeter ones and I had to take them out. So we're seeing at 8 millimeters. And then on Wednesday, where I got this one touched up, I also got a new tattoo, which is the most expensive one I have. It was 170 euros. Yeah, it's not expensive, actually, if you think about the size of this thing. Um, it's on my it's on my shin. It's a sword with plants wrapped around it, and it goes perfectly with the nature vibe going on my legs. And I love it, and it's looking so fucking beautiful. Wait a second. It is looking so fucking beautiful. I love it so much. It looks really crisp and nice because it is like still so fresh. Yeah. Oh wait, I actually forgot a tattoo, which I got on last year. No, in 2023, just before the New Year's. I've got a stick and poke. It's the stupidest thing ever, but I've done 2 smileys for 2 of my friends, and I went along and did one of myself, so we have matching tattoos of stick and poke smileys on our feet. It doesn't look good, it looks horrible, but that's that's a fun thing to remember. Okay, I have other plans. I want to do a foreign leave on my foot at one point. Yeah,